As.a.w. How are you? Yes, officer. What? I understand that your daughter, was it your daughter who converted someone to Mahdi before she left Egypt?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
MashaAllah. Well done.
She is a doctor.
The convert is a doctor.
Yes, and she is also, my daughter is a doctor also.
I see. And did she make
yes.
study in depth before she decided? Did she make full study?
I discussed this subject with her.
And all the allegations raised against some of these have also been brought to her notice fully?
She read many books.
That's fine.
She understands.
Excellent. Yes. Alhamdulillah. So this is a proposed meeting with only Ahmadis from different Arab countries, including Al-Maghrib, North, right.
So Imam Sahib is first going to introduce the party.
Yes, of course. Okay, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هذا لقاء بين بعض الإخوة والأخوات العرب مع أمير المؤمنين إمام الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية العالمية. في هذا اللقاء سوف نتحدث عن بعض النقاط التي تقابلنا في جولاتنا في بلاد العرب وفي أوروبا. May I present Mr. Munir Auda and Mr. Obada Barbush, and this is my wife Ihsan Helmi, and this is my daughter Tahiyya Shafi and Mrs. Mahad Abbous.
MashaAllah. Yes.
We have some questions. We usually meet these questions in this meeting.
Right.
The first one, what are the functions of the Imam Mahdi? And could it be achieved by the activities of regular mullahs and religious jamaat?
Well, it's a very good question, a very pertinent question, right? This question should only be answered with reference to the prediction or prophecies of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it was he who spoke of the institution of Mahdaviyyat clearly under the title Imam Mahdi, Al-Imam al-Mahdi, that a reformer would appear in the latter days under the title Al-Imam al-Mahdi. So of all the people on earth, he knows best what he meant and what the purpose of that Mahdi was. So in relation to what I have studied in the Hadith, one thing is very clear, that the word Al-Imam al-Mahdi itself is so explanatory that it does not require any other help, because if you delve deeper into the meaning of Mahdi, every question is solved satisfactorily. Al-Imam al-Hadi he didn't say. He said Al-Imam al-Mahdi, which means that after al-Hadi Kamil, as we say in Urdu, is the perfect Hadi, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no possibility of an independent Hadi to ever come. Because as I understand things, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam in relation to God was Al-Mahdi, the most perfect Al-Mahdi that ever was born. In relation to the remaining Ummah till the end of the time, he remained as Al-Hadi, and no Hadi could be born after him, but only that which would receive instruction from him first and then pass it on to the people. And as such, Al-Mahdi has two relationships, in fact. One, in relation to God, he will also be guided by Allah in the teachings of Islam, not in new teachings. So whatever instruction he receives from Allah will be the instruction which Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam was raised to provide to mankind. So either way you look at it, he happens to be Al-Mahdi.
Yes.
And the word Al indicates perfection. And also it defines a single person. And as such, there may be many Mahdis, but they are not Al-Mahdis. or Al-Imam al-Mahdi. So, and in other hadiths, we read among the functions of Hazrat Al-Imam al-Mahdi that he would, there are so many things attributed to him. The major among them are those which he also shares with the office of Al-Masih al-Ma'ud. Both are referred to as Hakam Adl. That is to say, they would come at a time when the Ummah would be divided in doctrines and in so many other ways, in different planes, and there would be need for a divine reformer who, guided by Allah, would sit on the chair of justice and dispense all the cases of their mutual quarrels and disagreements on the divine issues. So as such, the prime responsibility of the Mahdi, or the task of the Mahdi, would be to decide on the issues in which Muslims are split. With reference to the Quran, of course, they all believe in the Quran and would continue to believe in the Quran, yet they would be split. With reference to the very Quran to which they hold, and with reference to the meanings of ahadith as well. So in brief, I think that answer should be sufficient for the time being.
السؤال كان عن وظائف الإمام المهدي، وهل يمكن أن يقوم بهذه الوظائف أحد من العلماء المعاصرين أو بعض العلماء أو الجام من العلماء أو الجماعات الدينية التي توجد على الساحة. وقد أجاب مولانا أمير المؤمنين على هذا السؤال بقوله أن هذا الموضوع يرجع إلى أقوال المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم والأحاديث التي أخبرنا بها عن الإمام المهدي. لقد أعطاه اسما خاصا، قال الإمام المهدي، وال للتعريف تفيد التخصيص، أنه شخص معين واحد. أما عن كونه الإمام فذلك لأنه يؤتم به، وكونه المهدي لأنه يأخذ هدايته عن تعاليم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وتوجيه الله سبحانه وتعالى. لم يوصف بأنه الهادي، لأن الهادي هو النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وحده، وإلى آخر الزمن لن يكون هادي في هذه الأمة إلا المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم. أما هو فهو المهدي بوصفه تعلم على تعاليم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. وكونه المهدي معناه أنه على هداية، يعرف الحقيقة الدينية الإسلامية، وهو الذي يقدمها للناس. ووظيفته
also he'll be guided directly by Allah, because Imam can be appointed only by God. So when he appoints somebody as Imam, he has also to guide him, but within the Quran and the tradition, not beyond it. Because Al-Mahdi cannot step out of the...
وبوصفه الإمام المهدي يعني أنه يتلقى الهداية من الله تعالى مباشرة، ولكن في إطار الحدود التي جاء بها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، أي أنه لا يستطيع أن يتلقى هداية خارج هذه الحدود ولا أن يأتي بجديد.
نعم.
كما أن something else.
The second thing we read about him is being Liqa Ma'al Arab.
كما أن وظيفته دائما تتعلق بوظيفة المسيح الموعود أيضا، فقد قيل عنهما سويا أنهما حكم عدل، وهذا يعني أنه يجلس في مجلس القضاء بين الخلافات التي تكون موجودة بين طوائف المسلمين، فهو حكم لأنه من عند الله سبحانه وتعالى، وهو عدل لأنه لا ينتمي إلى واحد من هذه الجماعات، ولكنه من تعاليم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وتوجيه الله تعالى، فهو عدل يستطيع أن يقرر ويحكم أين الصواب وأين الخطأ فيما يتعلق بالأديان. ومن ثم لا يمكن لجماعة أخرى أن تقوم بهذه الوظيفة التي يتولاها الله تعالى بهدايته للإمام المهدي.
No.
The second question is...
That's from your wife?
Yes.
Right.
What is the wisdom in choosing the Imam Mahdi from among the non-Arabs and in India particularly?
The wisdom is the same eternal wisdom which has been repeatedly discussed in the Holy Quran, and the wisdom which also is specifically mentioned or pointed at in Surah Juma, where Surah Juma speaks of the second advent of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَآخَرِينَ مِنْهُمْ لَمَّا يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ وَاللَّهُ ذُو الْفَضْلِ الْعَظِيمِ. So, to receive guidance is no monopoly of any people or any nation or any countries. This has been the issue repeatedly raised during the advents of prophets earlier. And every time God rejected this demand from the people that the person which you raise, O God, should be from those people and that people and that people. God dispenses this question permanently by declaring, Ahum yaqsimuna rahmat rabbik? O Prophet of God, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the same objection is raised against you. Why from the Arabs? Why from Mecca, Medina, etc.? Ahum yaqsimuna rahmat rabbik? Will they distribute the rahmah of your Lord, Allah? So, ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ is reference to the same fundamental principle, that whenever and from whomsoever God chooses to send His messenger, it is His prerogative and it is not from man to interfere or question him.
السؤال الثاني عن ما هي الحكمة في اختيار الإمام المهدي من بين غير العرب ومن الهند بالذات؟ أجاب سيدنا أمير المؤمنين عن هذا السؤال بأن الحكمة يقررها القرآن الكريم عندما تحدث عن بعثة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم، ثم قال وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء، أي أن هذا البعث هو فضل من الله لا يحق لأحد أن يقترحه على الله ولا أن يكون شيئا خاصا به هو، فالله تعالى هو الذي يختار من يراه مناسبا في أي زمن وفي أي مكان. وقد كان هذا الاعتراض أيضا ضد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عندما كانوا يريدون أن يكون النبي المختار من بعض القبائل الأخرى أو من بين عظماء الناس في نظرهم، وقد رفض القرآن هذا المعنى وقال أهم يقسمون رحمة ربك؟ هل هذه الرحمة في يد الناس؟ لا، إن الله سبحانه وتعالى هذا حقه وحده وهو الذي يختار من يشاء.
Another part of the same question should be answered in a different way, but it will in fact further satisfy the questioner, whoever it is. In the same Surah Al-Jumu'ah, which I refer to, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam was addressed by somebody present, and a question was addressed to him. He inquired about who are these people who have not yet met us, but they would come at a later date. So people started wondering about the akharina minhum. The answer given was such a paragon of wisdom. It covers all the possible questions. And also it resolved the question just raised by you as to who that who represents the second advent or would represent the second advent. Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam in answer to this question said, "Law kana al-imanu inda thuraya lanalahu rajulun min haulai." And while he said haulai, he put his hand on the shoulder of Salman al-Farisi, the only non-Arab present among them. Was it accidental?
Yes.
Or was it designed by Allah?
Yes.
Obviously, nothing that Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam said or did was accidental. Ma yantiqu anil hawa in huwa illa wahyu yuha. So that hand which fell on the shoulder of Salman Rushdie was very significant. I'm Salman Farsi. Na'uzubillah min zalik. That, that rottenness, corrupt name has been so often mentioned nowadays. God forgive me. Thank you very much for pointing out. Hazrat Salman al-Farsi. His name was chosen by Hazrat Ali Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just to indicate that this time my representative would be from non-Arabs, not from the Arabs. Because otherwise there were so many Arab shoulders present, but his hand fell only on the shoulder of a non-Arab. Min haulai indicates that he would not be from among his progeny, but from these people, from Ajam. And it's so fascinating to note that Hazrat Salman Farsi didn't leave any progeny at all anyway. So this is a very indicative hadith and must have been divinely guided. Right?
ونجد إجابة أخرى على هذا السؤال في سورة الجمعة نفسها، فإنه عندما نزلت هذه السورة وقال وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم، سئل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من بعض الصحابة من هم هؤلاء الآخرين يا رسول الله؟ فأجاب إجابة رائعة تجيب على هذا السؤال من كل نواحيه. فقال لو كان الإيمان عند الثريا لناله رجل من هؤلاء. وكان سيدنا سلمان الفارسي موجودا، فوضع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يده عليه وقال لو كان الإيمان بالثريا لناله رجل من هؤلاء. لم يقل من أبناء هذا الرجل أو من أبناء هؤلاء، وإنما قال من هؤلاء. وسيدنا سلمان الفارسي ليس من العرب، فكأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يشير إلى أن الهداية في هؤلاء الآخرين لن تكون من أحد من العرب، وإنما من غير العرب وهم الأعاجم، سواء كانوا من الفرس أو الهند أو من أي بلد آخر، ولكن هذا الشرف سيكون لغير العرب.
The second very important point relating to the same incident is that Hazrat Salman Farsi did not belong to the family of Hazrat Ali Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and was not Ahl Bayt. Yet in many other traditions you read that the future Imam would be from among the Ahl Bayt. So this is the only dilemma which we face. Now this hadith is from Bukhari. This is very clear. With reference to the Quranic verse, Bukhari Asahul Kitab Ba'da Kitabillah very clearly indicates the future to be. But yet one must resolve these small issues as well. Why Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that elsewhere that the future Imam would be from among the Ahl Bayt? Now this issue was resolved by him at another occasion, and again this shows the divine hand in all this plan of things. At Jang-e-Ahzab, at the battle of Ahzab, when people were distributed according to their clans and families, the only person who was beckoned by Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and told to come forward and stand among the Ahl Bayt was Hazrat Salman Farsi. And the famous, the beautiful reward given to him at that moment was, award I should say, that Salmano minna Ahl al-Bayt. No doubt was left as to the issue of his being Ahl Bayt. So that means also that the future Imam would be from among the spiritual Ahl Bayt, not the blood Ahl Bayt. So all these issues are resolved. What a perfect prophet he was.
يقول أمير المؤمنين أن هذا الحديث حديث صحيح في البخاري ولا شك في مدلوله بأن الإمام المهدي سيكون من غير العرب. وهناك أحاديث أخرى تقول إن الإمام المهدي سيكون من أهل البيت، وهذه تحتاج إلى توضيح. يقول حضرته أنه في معركة الأحزاب كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يرتب الصحابة أو الجنود بحسب قبائلهم أو بحسب مواقعهم، واختار سيدنا سلمان الفارسي ليكون معه وفي كتيبة أهل البيت، وقال قولته المعروفة: سلمان منا أهل البيت، وبذلك تبين معنى أن سلمان من أهل البيت، وأن هذا الإمام المهدي الذي سيأتي سيكون من أهل البيت.
This title was never given by Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ to any other person outside his family. Although we believe there are spiritual arabat, but as a title this was never given by Hazrat Muhammad.
ولم يشرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحدا من خارج أهل البيت بهذا اللقب إلا لسيدنا سلمان الفارسي، وهذا يدل على عظمة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، وعلى أن يد الله يد الوحي تلعب دورها في هذا الموضوع، فكل كلمة ينطق بها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن هي إلا وحي يوحى. The third question. We understand that the Imam Mahdi and the promised Messiah are one and the same person. Then why the Imam Mahdi was given the name of Easa ibn Maryam or Maseeh or such a name?
Right. This is also a very interesting question. I think it's generally raised by people. You see, first of all, why two Imams at all? The issue begins with that. God has been sending one Imam at a time, and whenever he sent another Imam, he was made subordinate to one Imam. Like Moses and Harun, Hazrat Musa ﷺ was the first prophet and remained the first in title. And Hazrat Harun was subordinate to him. So there cannot be two heads at one time. This is the first issue. Why two heads? The issue is, are they two different persons or the same person given two titles? Even if they were to be two different persons, the Imam among them would be one and the only one. And Al-Imam al-Mahdi indicates that he who will be born among the Ummah of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ, he will be the divinely appointed leader, and whoever else, if at all anyone else is to come, will have to submit to him and subordinate to him. That also resolves the issue of prophethood. How can be a non-prophet be subordinate to a prophet, be subordinate to a non-prophet? So that shows positively the status of Al-Imam al-Mahdi as well. On this, all the Muslims agreed, whether they believe in one person to come with two titles or two persons to come with two titles. They are agreed on this issue, that Hazrat Easa alayhi salam, they believe, would come again. He would remain a prophet of God. So, being a prophet of God, he would be subordinated to Hazrat Al-Imam al-Mahdi. That means that the status of Al-Imam al-Mahdi is not less than Jesus to be, if he is able to come again. But we, Ahmadis, believe this is not the import of these prophecies. In fact, two different people are referred with one single person is referred to under two titles with some significance underlying in it. The significance is that the role of the future reformer who was to appear in Islam was twofold. One, to revive Islam like Mujaddideen had been doing it before, but with a much greater stress on reunification of all the Muslims and resolving their conflicts and splits and schisms once and for all. So he was to revive the faith of Islam from the point of view of doctrine as well as from the point of view of their being made righteous once again. So as such, he was to be entitled Al-Imam al-Mahdi, an Imam who is Imam in his title, but is subordinate to Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second role of that future Imam was that he would have a jihad against Christianity, a religion which had distorted the image of Jesus Christ and had turned him into God. So it is a beautiful rebuttal from Allah that you who claimed that Jesus Christ was a son of God, higher in status than every other prophet, I have so decided that the title Jesus Christ would be given to Al-Imam al-Mahdi, a follower of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to be born in his ummah, thereby declaring that this is the true status of Jesus Christ. Not beyond the prophets, but below Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and subordinate to him. So both issues in fact ultimately join the same line of argument which I am presenting. Either way, he was to be a subordinate to Islam, either being a separate person, or in the title of Messiah, also he was to be subordinated to the title of Al-Masih al-Ma'ud. That is why the hadith mentioned that Al-Imam Mahdi appears before and Messiah comes later. Now, as to the issue of there being just one person, I refer to a hadith of Ibn Majah which resolves this issue once and for all. Now, this hadith was recorded in Ibn Majah, one of the Sahih Sitta, long before Ahmadiyyat came to be born. And it says, Lal Masihu illa Easa. Lal Mahdiyu illa Easa.
Wamal Mahdi.
Huh?
Wamal Mahdi.
No, Lal Mahdiyu, I think it's the word Lal Mahdi. Lal Mahdiyu illa Easa. There is no Mahdi other than Easa. So that means one and the same person.
Yes.
So this is exactly what we believe.
It is in the affirmative style.
That's right.
Lal Mahdi
illa Easa. There are no two persons. One and the same person. Call him Easa or Mahdi, but they are not two persons. They are one and the same person. So Hadith has also directed us, has led us to the same conclusion that they are just merely two titles for some reasons as I have explained.
السؤال الثالث هو نحن نعرف أن الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية تعتقد بأن الإمام المهدي والمسيح الموعود هما اسمان لشخص واحد. فلماذا سمي الإمام المهدي باسم عيسى بن مريم أو المسيح ابن مريم؟ يقول أمير المؤمنين: نعم، إنهم شخص واحد، وقد أعطى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الإمام المهدي اسم المسيح لأن الدور الذي يقوم به الإمام المهدي هو يشبه الدور الذي يقوم به أو الذي قام به المسيح ابن مريم في أمته. فدوره فيما يتعلق بالإسلام هو إحياء الإسلام، مثله في ذلك كمثل المجددين، ولكن مع تركيز شديد على توحيد الأمة الإسلامية خلف إمام واحد فيما يتعلق بالتعاليم وفيما يتعلق بالتربية الأخلاقية وتحويلهم إلى أمة صالحة تقية، ولذلك سمي الإمام المهدي.
And this, excuse me,
Yes, sir.
no mujaddid other than Al-Imam al-Mahdi has been entitled Al-Imam by Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never in any hadith of Tajdeed you will read the title. So this brings him over and above and higher than the status of all the previous mujaddideen. They are mujaddideen made by God indeed, but not entitled as Al-Imam.
وهذا يتوضح أيضا من أن حديث التجديد لا تصف المجددين باسم الإمام، ولكن هذا المجدد سمي الإمام المهدي، وهذا يبين أن منزلته ومهمته أرفع بكثير من مهمة المجددين السابقين أو العاديين، وهو توحيد المسلمين ثم الجهاد ضد المسيحية التي شوهت صورة المسيح وألهته. فالله سبحانه وتعالى لما رأى هذا الإنسان الذي أرسله عبدا ونبيا يتحول إلى إله أعلى مرتبة من كل الأنبياء، اختار الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يكون أحد أتباع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وخادما لشريعته يحمل نفس الاسم الذي يحمله هذا الإله الذي ألهه النصارى، فأطلق عليه اسم المسيح ابن مريم. وهذه لفتة رائعة من الله سبحانه وتعالى يبين بها مقام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالنسبة لسائر الأنبياء.
Yeah, this point has been further supported by Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam by adding a task to the tasks of Hazrat Maseeh ibn Maryam. That is when he reappears in the world under the title Maseeh ibn Maryam. Al-Mahdi has never been referred to as Yaksiru Saliba, while Al-Masih is always referred to as Yaksiru Saliba, which means his main task would be to destroy the false religion attributed to him. And this he would do under full subservience to Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the law-bringing prophet, the final prophet, whose command can never be altered or changed by anyone, appears to be Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam alone.
وبوصف الإمام المهدي المسيح ابن مريم كانت له وظيفة كسر الصليب، أي القضاء على العقيدة الباطلة التي جاء بها هؤلاء النصارى، وهذا يتم بناء على كون النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وبحسب شريعته. أنا فاتني أن أذكر الجزء الأول من كلام حضور فيما يتعلق بأنه إذا كان هناك إمامان فليس من سنة الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يرسل إمامان في وقت واحد، إلا إذا كان أحدهما إماما أساسيا والآخر مساعدا وتابعا له، مثل سيدنا موسى عليه السلام وهارون عليه السلام، فإن موسى كان هو النبي الأساسي وهارون تابع له. ولذلك نفهم من أن وجود إمامين، الإمام المهدي والمسيح، لا يمكن أن يكون إمامين في وقت واحد، وإنما الإمام المهدي من الاسم نعرف أنه الإمام الأصلي، وأن المسيح هذه صفة تابعة، لو أنه جاء بشخصية مستقلة فإنه أيضا يكون تابعا للإمام المهدي. وهذا يدل على مركز ومكانة الإمام المهدي، فهو على الأقل لا يكون أقل من سيدنا عيسى، وإنما هو أيضا في مرتبة النبوة، وأن سيدنا عيسى يكون تابعا له. أما نحن الحمديين فإننا نعتقد بأن الإمام المهدي والمسيح هما شخص واحد، وإنما أعطي هذان الاسمان للإشارة إلى وظيفة الإمام المهدي من ناحية هداية المسلمين، والمسيح من ناحية كسر الصليب. وإلا فإن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد حل لنا هذه المشكلة نهائيا وقال: ما المهدي؟ لا المهدي إلا المسيح ابن مريم. وهذا بالتأكيد يبين أن المهدي هو نفسه المسيح ابن مريم، وأن المسيح ابن مريم الموعود الذي سيأتي هو نفسه الإمام المهدي.
You would like to ask a question?
I think it's our turn.
Yes, I have one question.
Yes, please. Most welcome.
It's about the Shiites' belief that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, before he died, he appointed Hazrat Ali as his successor. And I just wanted to ask about the teachings of Islam regarding the appointment of the Caliph.
You see, this issue has been resolved already by Hazrat Ali, no less a person than Hazrat Ali Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu himself. Did he not know that he was appointed as Caliph without break after Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? If he did not know, how could the Shias of today know it? And if he knew, why did he give his hand in bay'ah to Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu? If he knew and then did it, then he was no longer worthy of being the Imam. And it is against the very character of Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu to behave like that. You know, he was the bravest man under Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam who fought the battles for Islam. It is said, reported very rightly so, that the most danger point, the greatest point of danger in any battle during the time of Hazrat Muhammad Rasool was where Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa himself was. And next to that, where Hazrat Ali was. Such a brave man who did not care, as they say, a fig for his life. How could he become so callous regarding regarding guarding of his status given to him by the Holy Prophet himself under divine guidance from Allah? It's impossible, you know. Whatever it was, we don't know. We don't go into the detail of who concocted this hadith and what the meaning was, etc. It's irrelevant. The relevant fact, which is not disputed, is that Hazrat Ali, under whatever conditions Shias believe, gave his hand to Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq and thereby professed himself that he is the caliph, not me.
السؤال عن عقيدة الشيعة في أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وصى أو عين سيدنا علي خليفة له من بعده. يقول أمير المؤمنين أن الذي يجيب على هذا السؤال هو سيدنا علي نفسه. فهل كان يعلم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد عينه خليفة أم لم يكن يعلم؟ إذا لم يكن يعلم فكيف علم الشيعة بهذا الموضوع؟ هل هم يعلمون أكثر من سيدنا علي؟ وإذا كان يعلم فهذا يخالف العقل ويخالف الواقع، لأن سيدنا علي كان معروفا بأنه من أشجع المؤمنين المسلمين، كان يحمل روحه على يده في كل مكان، كان لا يخاف شيئا. فكيف يقبل أن يضحي بهذا الواجب وبوصية النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ويبايع سيدنا أبو بكر ويضع يده في يده؟ إنه بمجرد أن وضع يده في يد سيدنا أبو بكر فقد اعترف بنفسه أن الخلافة هي حق لسيدنا أبو بكر وأنها ليست له هو. فهذا هو الجواب على هذا السؤال. مهما كانت آراء الشيعة في هذا الموضوع فقد أجاب سيدنا علي عليه وحسم الأمر.
You see, the situation which develops from this is much worse than people can visualize from what I have said. If there is another part to the story, if Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was destined to be the caliph immediately after Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as such he was willed to be the prophet, the caliph, then what would be the position of Hazrat Abu Bakr? If it is true, then the Shia's claim could be considered to have some validity, that Hazrat Abu Bakr appears to be chief of munafiqeen, na'uzubillah min zalik, chief of hypocrites. This is what they say. Now, Hazrat Ali is not giving his hand to a pious man according to them. Hazrat Ali, imagine, is giving his hand of submission in the name of Allah, repeating the words of Bay'ah, with which people accepted the Bay'ah, gave their hand in Bay'ah to Hazrat Muhammad Rasool, to, according to the Shias, to the chief of the hypocrites. Impossible, unbelievable.
ثم إن الشيعة يرون أن سيدنا أبو بكر ومن حوله قد اغتصبوا الخلافة من سيدنا علي، وهذا معناه أنهم ليسوا قوم من الأمناء بل هم منافقون، ويكون سيدنا أبو بكر والعياذ بالله هو شيخ المنافقين، وهم يقولون ذلك، بعضهم يقول ذلك، ولكن هم نسوا أن سيدنا علي رضي الله تعالى عنه وضع يده في يد سيدنا أبو بكر بسم الله وفي سبيل الإسلام، ولا يمكن لمثل سيدنا علي أن يبايع منافقا. إنهم يهينون سيدنا علي في نفس الوقت الذي يهينون فيه سيدنا أبو بكر.
My question is, what is the difference between Nabiullah and Rasulullah?
The Holy Quran speaks of the two terms, in fact, applicable to the same people. As far as the applicability of those titles are concerned, there is no difference. And it can be proved beyond a shadow of doubt from the usage of the Quran, and I'll speak to that later on. Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam is declared to be Khatamun Nabiyyin, not Khatamul Rasul. If Rasul are some other people and Nabiyyin are some other people, then Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Khatam only of Nabiyyin and not of Rasul. So it's impossible. So they have to be the same people. And another place, the Holy Quran tells us that Hazrat Muhammad Amana Rasul bima unzila ilayhi min rabbihi wal mu'minun kullun amana billahi wa kutub malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi. And no Nabiyyin are mentioned here. So that means the terms may be different from their significance from some point of view, but they're not different as far as their applicability to human beings is concerned. And the difference there is obviously that of attitude or vantage point. A Nabi is the one who carries a news from God which earlier, before that, belonged to the realm of the unknown. Amur-e Ghaib. That which was unknown is brought to the realm of the known from God through a prophet. As such, he is called a Nabi. And he brings a message, not necessarily a new message. Because all the prophets after Hazrat Musa, who did not bring a new prophet, were also called Rasul, like Jesus Christ himself. He didn't bring a new prophet. Mal Maseeh ibn Maryam illa Rasul, not illa Nabi. So this means that the message they bring sometimes is the same message as was brought by a lawbringer prophet, but with greater emphasis on this and that. So practically, these terms are the same as far as the applicability is concerned, and different as far as the angle of understanding these terms is concerned.
السؤال هو ما الفرق بين النبي والرسول؟ نقول نبي الله ورسول الله. يقول أمير المؤمنين أنه ليس هناك فرق فيما يتعلق بالبشر، أي أن النبي رسول والرسول نبي إذا كان من البشر. فمثلا هناك آية خاتم النبيين ما محمد
رسول قد
ليس هذا رسول الله نعم رسول الله
ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله
وخاتم النبيين. فإذا كان هناك فرق في المعنى بين النبيين والمرسلين لكان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خاتما للنبيين وليس خاتما للمرسلين، وهذا غير معقول. كما أن هناك الآية التي تقول آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله ولم يذكر أنبيائه. فالرسل هم الأنبياء والأنبياء هم الرسل، ولكن المعنى قد يتوقف على الناحية التي ننظر منها. فالنبي هو الذي يحمل نبأ من أنباء الغيب فتصبح معروفة للناس إذا أخبرهم بها. أما الرسول فهو الذي يأتي برسالة من عند الله بناء على أخبار غيبية سابقة. فنحن نعرف أن سيدنا
رسالات سابقة
هذه مش رسالات.
That means that he does not, a Rasul does not necessarily bring a new message. He repeats sometimes the message which has already been brought by an earlier law-bringing prophet. Like it happened with the case of Hazrat Moses and Hazrat Harun, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Hazrat Ishaq, Hazrat Yaqub, Hazrat Yusuf. All these never brought a new prophet other than the prophet message brought by Abraham, that they were Rasul. So the meaning is that they did bring messages from Allah, but the same messages as were brought by the earlier law-bringing. In that respect, new message is given to them, right?
Do they have a special name in this case?
No, both names. These prophets are referred to as a Rasul and a Nabi. Both, yes.
إذن ليس من الضروري أن كل رسول يأتي برسالة جديدة، فنحن نعرف أن سيدنا موسى جاء برسالة، ولكن كثيرا من الأنبياء الذين جاءوا من بعده هم أنبياء وسماهم القرآن أيضا رسلا، وإن كانوا لم يأتوا برسالة جديدة مثل سيدنا عيسى وسيدنا داود وسليمان وغيرهم.
And also Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he brought a new message. But Hazrat Ishaq after him did not bring a new message. Hazrat Yaqub after him did not bring a new message. Hazrat Yusuf did not bring a new message. Yet they were all referred to as Rasul.
وكذلك سيدنا إبراهيم كان نبيا ورسولا وجاء برسالة جديدة، ولكن من بعده جاء إسحاق وإسماعيل وسماهم القرآن أنبياء ورسل، ولكنهم لم يأتوا بأي رسالة مختلفة.
Yes, please.
I'll ask my question in Arabic.
Okay, fine.
يموت كل سنة في الحج مئات الحجاج في طريقهم إلى الرجم، فما هي أهمية الرجم في الحج؟
Okay. The question he has asked is about Rajm of 3 Satans, correct? The Satans of stones or rocks, as they refer to. What is the significance of Rajm? I believe it is just a symbol and a reminder to the Haji, the one who performs al-Hajj, that by doing the Hajj, he has killed his Satan and done away with him once and forever. So there are 3 Satans representing this. I believe that this relates to 3 directions from which Satan mainly appears upon man and misleads him. I understand this with reference to Surah An-Nas. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. The 3 attributes of Allah mentioned in this surah, and Satan is mentioned later on to try to dissuade people from all these 3 spheres of human activity and interest. God is Rabbun Nas. Satan tries to be Rabbun Nas. God is Ilahin Nas. Satan tries to be Ilahin Nas. God is Malikin Nas. And the Satan says, no, I am the authority, come to me. Or nowadays people say, people, man, human beings, ordinary people are the authority, while the authority is only God. So these were the 3 Satans which are mentioned in the Holy Quran, or 3 aspects of Satan. So symbolically, it's so beautiful to see 3 is rock Satans. And rock Satans indicate they have no life. Don't be afraid of them. They're just dead, meaningless. You can throw stones on them, pelt stones on them, carelessly, without any fear. So it is a reminder to man that from now on, they have not to fear any Satan in any form, and not to obey any Satan in any form.
السؤال هو عن رمي الجمرات في موسم الحج، وقال السائل أن كثيرا من الناس يموتون في الزحام عند رمي هذه الجمرات، فهل هذه الجمرات مهمة وما هو مغزى رمي الجمرات؟ يقول أمير المؤمنين أن رمي الجمرات هذه قام بها سيدنا إبراهيم عندما كانت مثلا أو رمزا لقضائه على شيطانه، بحيث لم يكن للشيطان تأثير على سيدنا إبراهيم، فرمي الجمرات رمز لذلك. والمسلمون يقومون بهذا في موسم الحج، فيرمون في 3 مواضع. يقول أمير المؤمنين أن هو فهم أن هذه ال3 مواضع من سورة الناس. المغزى من سورة الناس عندما تقول قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس، فالله سبحانه وتعالى له صفات 3: الربوبية والملك والمالكية والألوهية، والشيطان يأتي للناس ليحاول إفساد هذه الصفات والمعاني في نفوس الناس. يريد الشيطان أن يكون هو رب الناس أو ملك الناس أو إله الناس. فالحاج بعد أن يؤدي فرائض الحج ويقوم برمي الجمرات كأنه يقول إنني قد قتلت الشيطان في كل هذه الاتجاهات ولا يستطيع أن يؤثر علي بأي ناحية من هذه النواحي. But he mentioned that many people are killed during this.
Many people are killed not only during Rami Mar, but they are killed during other functions of the Hajj as well. Their death is caused by mismanagement, not by the function they perform. The function itself is not dangerous. It's only a question of better management, and management is being improved. So despite our differences on some doctrines with Saudians, I fully give them full marks for their best attempts to continue to improve the management of Hajj, and with the grace of Allah they are doing it. But accidents do take place, and the management is not to be blamed because they always intend with the best powers available to them to improve the quality of management of Hajj. So inshallah, with the process of time, it will become better and better, and you won't hear of other people dying during the process of Rami Ajmar.
يقول أمير المؤمنين فيما يتعلق بموت الناس عند رمي الجمرات، هذا لا يحدث فقط عند رمي الجمرات، وإنما هذا يحدث في كثير من الأماكن التي يفد إليها الناس ويكون العدد كبير. هذا ليس خطأ الإدارة التي تدير العملية هناك، وإنما هذا خطأ في سوء النظام من الناس. والحق يقال أن النظام الموجود هناك يحاول بقدر المستطاع مشكورا في أن ييسر طرق الحج والوسائل التي تؤدي إليه، وإن شاء الله في المستقبل ستكون الأمور أحسن من ذلك ولا تقع مثل هذه الأحداث. نرجو ذلك.
And also said that it does not relate to the issue of Rami Jamarat at all only. In functions, all other functions of Hajj, this happens. Accidents do take place during Tawaf as well.
وهذه العمليات ليست السبب في الوفاة، وإنما هو سوء النظام من الناس، سواء كان في الطواف أو في السعي أو في رمي الجمرات أو في الإفاضة. هذه لأن الناس يتزاحمون دون نظام، وهذا ليس خطأ في معالم الحج ولا في النظام الموجود هناك.
نعم.
هل هناك أسئلة أخرى؟ هل عندك سؤال؟
My question is, I understood that a Nabiullah could be also Rasulullah as well. Is this also the same sunnah of God in the case of Hazrat Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, that God did give him, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, through God's revelation, give him these two titles?
You see, the first issue of his status is the all-important issue. It should be decided. Once the status is decided, then he cannot be a different type of Nabi from all the rest, where he is only Nabi and not Rasool, or only Rasool and not Nabi, because the Holy Quran is very clear on this. It's impossible to conceive any Nabi who is not Rasool, or any Rasool who is not Nabi. So, having said that, I tell you that the issue of Khatamiyat is not involved in this. This is absolutely wrong. People allege falsely that we have concocted a new concept of Khatamiyat. This is not so. Because the issue is whether, the only issue is whether the old Messiah, whom we prove from the Holy Quran to be dead, is referred to by the Holy Prophet to come again, or is he referred only metaphorically, and it is his title which is kept in view. Now the issue can be easily resolved. As far as the future Messiah is concerned, all Muslims, without a shadow of doubt, agree that he would be a prophet of God. They cannot have any other view on this, because Hadith al-Muslim refers to the same prophet, Nabiullah, 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 Nabiullah 4 times. But even otherwise, because they believe he is the old one, and they know the prophet once made cannot be dispossessed of his title, is permanently the prophet and Rasul. So they have to agree and believe it. This is exactly what their belief is. So the issue is not of a prophet coming after Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That issue is resolved. They also believe that a prophet would come. Now, when you ask them, how can an old prophet come? Through the seal of the Prophet of Allah, breaking that seal? Or by which way will he appear in the future? They say, no, you don't understand the meaning of the seal. It will be, the seal will remain unbroken, because when he comes, he will become a Muslim. And he will become a perfect obedient servant of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As such, his being a prophet has no contradiction to the concept of Khatamiyat. This is exactly our view. The issue of old and new is irrelevant. The central point to the issue is whether a prophet would come who would hold his prophethood separate and distinct from the ummah of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he will remain an independent prophet as he was once an independent prophet. If he were to claim to be an independent prophet, then he would certainly be a liar. This is the issue, and this is exactly our view. The only question is whether the old person would come and become a member of the ummah, or a member of the ummah would be raised to a subordinate prophet. That's all the difference there is about it. Now, if we prove, as we do, from the Holy Quran, that the old prophet Jesus is dead by the absolute final declaration of the Quran, Mal Maseeh ibn Maryam illa Rasool, qad khalat min qabli Rasul, wa ummuhu siddiqah, kana yakulani ta'am. And then Ma Muhammadun illa Rasool, qad khalat min qabli Rasul, afa in mata aw qutila qalabtum ala aqabikum. These are two stalwarts which will never permit anybody to claim that Jesus Christ is still alive somewhere in heaven with his bodily life. So this issue is resolved once and forever. So then why Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam continues to refer to him as Maseeh Easa, Maseeh ibn Maryam? It is because this is exactly the style in every language where an old hero is mentioned. He is mentioned with all his titles and with clear significance, so that his metaphorical appearance is not misunderstood. When you say somebody is Hatam Tai, why do you say Hatam Tai and also mention the Qabila Tai? While he may belong to, he may be a Qazak or somebody else, or Ode, like you are. Why should anybody say Al-Hatam Tai? Because it is the perfect complement to such a person, and similarity becomes almost complete. You don't say like Hatam Tai. Somebody is called Rustam. Well, Rustam is the personal name of a great warrior at the time of the battles with Islam during the period of Hazrat Umar. So this is a metaphorical issue. Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam pointed out that a prophet would be born from among the ummah who will hold the title of Maseeh ibn Maryam like Easa ibn Maryam before, but his similarity would be so close to him that as if his name can be given to him as a title. This is the message. And this is further proved by the fact that there is another hadith which people generally do not relate to this issue, but it is very relevant. Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam also prophesied that an unfortunate time would come in the ummah when this ummah, so-called my ummah, would be so similar to the Jews as if one shoe of the pair is similar to the other of the same pair. Yes, unbelievable. Now, which Jews, not at the time of Moses, who believed in him, but the Jews of the time of Jesus Christ. So if this is the name of the disease, then the recipe for cure should be exactly the same. And that is the meaning of Maseeh ibn Maryam, or Easa Maseeh ibn Maryam. As far as Al-Imam al-Mahdi is concerned, that title is also very clear. Al-Imam indicates that whoever he is, he will be appointed by God and not elected by the people of the time. And once a person is appointed by God as Imam, no one has the right to reject him. On this, all Muslims are agreed. How else can you define prophethood? Prophets possess these two prerequisites of prophethood. A prophet has to be appointed by God, and once he is appointed, nobody can reject him. So that is why it's an article of our faith, you cannot reject any prophet. So Imam Mahdi, will he be rejected? Will he be permitted to be rejected? And will he not be appointed by God? So whether you call him as Ummati Nabi in the Ummah Muhammad or do not, you believe exactly in the same thing as we do. There is no difference. Understand?
This is a very long answer, but I'll
make it short. Because the time is over anyway.
I'll try, okay. السؤال هو هل الإمام المهدي أيضا نبي ورسول، أو هل المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم أخبر أنه نبي ورسول؟ هذا هو السؤال.
أنا تكلمت
Al-Masih and Imam Mahdi both.
Yeah.
The question applied to the both. Yes.
يقول
يقول
أمير المؤمنين نعرف مكانتهم، ومنها نستطيع أن نبين مدى انطباق النبوة والرسالة على الاسم. فالإمام المهدي من الذي سيعينه؟ الله سبحانه وتعالى هو الذي سيعينه. ومن الذي سيصلحه ومن الذي سيهديه؟ الله سبحانه وتعالى. وكل المسلمين يؤمنون بأن الإمام المهدي عندما يأتي يجب أن يطاع، فإذا كان الله هو الذي يعينه ويجب أن يطاع، فماذا تكون النبوة إذن والرسالة؟ هذه الإمامة هي أيضا نبوة ورسالة. وهناك حديث عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يبين أن المسلمين سيكونون مثل اليهود تماما، حتى أنه قال حذو النعل بالنعل، أي أن سلوك المسلمين وعيوبهم ومفاسدهم ستكون مثل اليهود. ليس اليهود الذين كانوا في زمن موسى عليه السلام لأنهم آمنوا به، ولكن أولئك اليهود الذين جاء إليهم سيدنا عيسى. إذن يكون إصلاحهم بنفس الطريقة، ولذلك سمي هذا المصلح، هذا الإمام الذي يأتي لهدايتهم باسم الإمام المهدي. Did I miss something?
Yes,
I know
only
a lot
this
of things,
much,
just
that Messiah is the title, which indicates that somebody like him would appear. And when the word Jesus is used, it is used like in the style of every language. An old hero is given, the name of an old hero is applied to somebody who is similar to him, and there is nothing against common sense or common usage.
القضية في كونه نبي ورسول لا تعارض أو لا تتعارض مع ختم النبوة أو مع خاتم النبيين، لأن كل المسلمين يعتقدون بأن عيسى ابن مريم الأول الإسرائيلي سوف يأتي وسوف يكون نبيا. إذن هو نبي جاء بعد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، فهل هو سيكسر خاتم النبوة؟ يقولون لا يكسر خاتم النبوة ما دام هو سيكون تابعا للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، ولن يخرق أو يفعل شيئا في رسالته. وليس هذا هو الخلاف، وإنما الخلاف هو في أن هذا الذي سوف يأتي قد تبين من القرآن الكريم أنه مات ولا سبيل إلى عودته مرة أخرى. إذن هو سمي المسيح ابن مريم على سبيل التشبيه، كما هي عادة العرب وكما هو متبع في كثير من اللغات، أن يطلق اسم شخص عظيم أو شخص له سمعة معينة على على إنسان آخر لبيان هذه الصفة. كما نسمي أحد الكرماء بأنه حاتم الطائي، هو ليس حاتم وهو ليس من بني طيء، ولكن بمجرد أن نسمع أن اسمه حاتم الطائي اللقاء نعرف أنه شخص جواد كريم له هذه الصفات. فعندما نسمع عن أن هذا الذي سوف يأتي اسمه المسيح ابن مريم نستطيع أن نعرف ما هي مهمته بالنسبة للمسلمين وكيف يكون حال المسلمين في ذلك الوقت. إذن هي مسألة تشبيه وليست اسما حقيقيا.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
I hope so. I hope so.
And we take leave because I'm told that the time is over. So I take leave of all the audience and the viewers. And thank you so much for coming. Jazakumullah khairan.
Do we have another chance?
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
I think
Because we have many questions.
why not next week? Let's
Inshallah.
continue until your questions are exhausted. I hope.
Inshallah.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. It's very good. And this translation is the right one. It's beautiful. The running translation is not impossible to the pressure is so much, but in this case it's excellent. You know? This is okay. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.